Mic check. Hello. Can you guys hear me? Hello. Mic check. Hello. Oh my gosh, that was so loud. Hello. 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 Mic check. All right. I think we're good. All right. Well, good morning. Hope everybody's doing some trading, some good trading today. I quickly wanted to come on here and do some trading myself. Not gonna lie. Obviously we missed the morning. And actually, before we start, let me make sure my camera's good. So, first things first, we're gonna label our 9:30 candle, which is the opening of the morning, and our 10 o'clock. And now we are actually entering PM session in about a minute. Right, so we have 1:30 to 2 o'clock PM. And so what we're gonna do now, right? We're not even gonna look at previous day session yesterday, Sunday, when there's a new week opening up. Right? All we're gonna look at is today's price action and see whether we can find a trade based on our trade setup. Right, so what I'm looking at right now is my strategy on the bottom of my camera. Right, and we're gonna just simply unmark everything. And obviously today's not CPI or FOMC day. And right now what we're doing is marking out the 9:30 at 10 o'clock. So let's go ahead and do that. And we'll make the first one blue. Right, so today is the 24th. And we'll just put H. Put it on the top right. We'll actually copy and paste this one since it's a little bit faster. Right. And during these 30 minutes, I'm just labeling out the high and low between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. And then this one would be our low. And then what I'm looking also is a fair value gap, the first one. Right, so this 9:30 a.m. candle, normally we would want to use this. But since we're only using inside 9:30, we cannot include that. So we look for the next one, which I see is right here. And we're going to extend this to the right. And since it was bearish, we're going to label it exactly like that. And we'll just keep on extending it manually for now. But just looking at this, I'm also going to add a 50%, which I'm probably going to make a kind of like an indicator type of thing. Not indicator. What is it, like a script that kind of does all this leveling for me? So I don't really have to spend a lot of time writing these things out. It just kind of just does it on its own. But we'll just do it for now. So we have all right, so this red line, all it is 50% or half of this low and the high of the morning. Right, so, you know, because we just want to label like what's the range, right? Anything above is expensive premium level. Anything below the 50% would be a discount. And so let's just take a look going left to right, like what's going on with price, right? What I'm observing. And I see a very big drop down right in the beginning. Although the 50% hasn't fully formed yet until we get this close at 10 o'clock. Somehow, you know, price just comes right above, or kind of closes above and goes higher, and then it drops down lower, right? And then we create first presented fair value gap, drops down lower, right? Makes this initial low right here, price comes back up, takes out these stops right here, comes back up higher. And what I would have been looking for this morning was not necessarily this high getting taken out, but most likely something like this get taken out, right? So this would have been our lower high, right? So looking back at my strategy checklist, right? So we mark out the 9:30 to 10 o'clock. We haven't done the afternoon since it's still forming. But you can see the BOS, which is the break of structure, and fair value gap and premium or discount. So looking at this range right here, right? So we have the high and the low in the morning. We have a lower high, right? So this would be our break of structure that we're looking for. See if we want to make a reversal type of pattern, right? So the moment this gets broken, I'm looking for a fair value gap to form, right? So right here is when price gets broken, right? And what I'm looking for really is a fair value gap afterwards to form. So let's see, really zoom in here. So we do have this. You can see that also price does dip into this fair value gap that gets formed right after the break of structure. But you can see that price comes back below it at the bottom of the candles right here for sure. Like it's not 100% like really good price action, but I like this one better. But it never filled, so that's something to take note of. But even then, even though like if we did take a trade here, right, we enter, let's say, the top of this fair value gap, you know, our stop loss most likely is, you know, within this candle, maybe even this one, right, where this fair value gap is. But you know, it's just an idea. I do like that trade setup. But going from left to right again, so I really like how price came back above the 50% of this trading range. I just want to make sure I'm capturing price right now. All right, so I really like how it comes above, also hitting the first present fair value gap and then having a little bit of retracement and then coming back higher. Right, so this is the exact setup that I'm looking for. And then, you know, the next question would be is where do you plan to get out of the market? Right, so anything above 50% is obviously considered premium. So we want to be selling in a premium, right, in an expensive market when you bought it at a discount. Because let's say we bought it down here, this would be considered a discount for us. So what my eye jumps to is using this imbalance right here, even though it should be red. Right, so I'm looking at that. Right, we can see the price pretty much perfectly touches the high of it. Now dropping down lower. And I really like that. Another thing that I'm looking at is, so we have this somewhat of a trend line going. A lot of traders think that this trend line is breaking, ultimately to just go back up. Excuse me, I had a sneeze. So what I'm looking for is we have higher highs, right, forming, and then higher lows, right? All these lows are forming a lot higher. But then you see that, we kind of flatlined up here. Let's see. We have this low, this one, and then finally just breaking that, and now seeing lower prices. So looking at this lower high break of structure, so let's see if we can identify the opposite side of it. So what I'm looking at is, right, so lower high, now it'd be a higher low that gets broken. Right, so this is our higher low. And then we're looking for a fair value gap to form after that higher low. And we can see that we do actually get one right here. So we're gonna be looking at this level right here, keeping our eye on it. And we're not taking a trade until after 2 o'clock. So now that I'm marking my strategy checklist. So we have gold means that we're following it. So no entry, right? We have our break of structure and fair value gap. Yes, we are in a premium level. And now we just have to wait for this PM session to finish forming. And I'm actually gonna make this like that for now, because I don't want to mix up the let's see if we can make this left. That's perfect. Same with this one. To the left on the top. Beautiful. So between these 1:30 to 2 o'clock, very simple, just like we did in the morning session. Right now, I'll just label it for now, and we'll keep on moving it. And we'll actually make this one, last one we had blue, so we'll make this one red. So we're gonna label this a 8:24 p.m. low. The low for now, right? This is technically the high. Right, we'll change it as price keeps on updating, but so far we don't have any. Actually, we do. No, we have a very small first presented fair value gap right there, bullish. Right, so we changed from bearish to bullish. It doesn't mean we're bullish, but just first presented fair value gap is bullish. This first presented fair value gap, so we can extend that. Actually make it all the way till 4 o'clock today. I probably don't plan on staying until 4 o'clock, but this is when price or the market closes for the public, so we'll keep it like that. And so now we have around 18 minutes left to see what the high and low will be for the PM session. So I'm pretty curious whether we want to keep dropping down lower or higher. I'm more of a, I want to say bullish, to be honest. Not necessarily long-term bullish, but take a look at price. All right, so we have a lot of downward movements. So maybe what price could do is trade above up here, right? Could even come up to these highs right here, the AM high. Then coming back down lower, but let's just keep on looking at what price is doing. That's what's really important right now. So usually I start streaming or trading after, let's say for this case, right after this time window finishes, and I look for a trade. But this time I felt like I needed to come on here a little bit earlier. Ideally, like the best price action is in the morning, but I wanted to come and just sit here and kind of just practice my discipline of not taking a trade, even though I have an idea of where price can go. I think my bias right now, or like what I think price is leaning towards, right, either up or down. I think it's probably going down, to be honest, if I'm gonna make a choice and lock it in before I start trading. So we're gonna be looking for a setup that allows us to go short, right? So even if price keeps on going down lower right now, right, and we can't enter until this 2 p.m. candle finally closes, and we look something for, after 10-15 minutes of that, if there's no entry, then we won't take one. But if there is, then we'll see what happens. Just gonna quickly extend this to the right real quick. But yeah, so for as far as trading goes, we've taken 4 trades. One of them was it kind of just not even following my plan, right? Because I feel like we're all gonna have those type of trades where, you just didn't follow your plan at all, and you're just, all right, let me buy here, I'm still gonna include that in there. I probably shouldn't, but we'll see what happens. But trades that I've actually taken, we've won 2, lost 2. So we have that 50% win rate. Profit factor is 2.06 and expectancy is 0.68 R. So basically every dollar that we risk, we're making 68 cents on it, which is still pretty good. Everybody expects, 3R, 5R, 10R, whatever it is. But as long as your R is being positive, it's better than negative. All right, so now that we can keep on updating our low for the PM session, but I'm still kind of just having my eye out, like, okay, we've taken stops again. And I'm also looking at this first presenter fair value gap right here, whether the bodies of the candles close above it or below it. That is important to me. I guess just to go over what I'm looking for again. So we have a higher low, and technically another higher low. So basically this would be kind of my line of defense that I'm looking for to see it not break. And we can obviously see it break right here, come back above, and then dropping down lower. Just like how we have this one. We have our lower high, the last one, drops down, comes back up, finally breaks it, comes back down, touches it, we have a fair value gap, and then we take off. So it's essentially the same pattern as this one, but just the opposite. And although I am tempted to place a trade right now, we're still gonna wait until 2 o'clock, so we still have another 10 minutes. So we're gonna try our best to not take a trade. Because ideally, let's see. Ideally, if we are going to see lower prices, obviously this one, ultimately, like, okay, I really don't want to see it come up here. I think it can reach up into here. Right, I think that would be okay for it to come into here and then seek lower. But anything above, like this one, this side, or even this one, I think would invalidate my trade. So I usually never do this type of thing, but if we were gonna do like something like this, right? So ideally, like best case scenario, I want to target something like this. Right? My stop loss can be like that, right? Because this would invalidate my trade up here. We enter within something like right here, if price even wants to reach back up into there, right? So it doesn't really have to. And then taking today's trading range, right? So high to low, we have this dashed line, the red line. Right, so this would be 50% of today's trading range. So anything below that would be a discount. So obviously as a short seller, you want to be selling at expensive prices and then buying it back at a discount. So anything below here is considered a discount, right? So what we can target, right? We have this low that I'm looking at. It's also coming into this fair value gap that's inside this break structure that we had. You know, best case scenario, we can reach for today's lows. But be something like that for me. That's a pretty good. I'd be willing to risk that. And that would be 3.86 RR, I'm pretty sure. We'll hide this for now. And then this would be our own trade setup. So we can see that we had this higher low, right? Comes back down, breaks it. And then the first fair value gap that forms afterwards would be our entry that we want to see. So that's interesting right there. We can see price come back into it and then drop down lower for now. Like I said, I'm still pretty tempted to take a trade, but my rules is to just wait until the 2 p.m. to finish closing, so. No, I'm doing the opposite. I'm looking for. Well, I'm personally waiting for 2 o'clock. So Eastern Standard Time, that'd be in 5 minutes. For me, it'd be 11 a.m. That's just based on my own rules. But you know, like for me, like what I'm kind of, I guess, worried about a little bit is it just runs without me. Right? Because, you know, I could have told myself, like, I could have entered, like, now. I didn't have to wait until 2 o'clock. But just based on my experience, I see price to tend to move a lot better after the 2 o'clock. Right? So I could, pretty much what I'm saying is, like, I don't want to enter too early. But I am looking for a setup going lower. If I can show. How do I unhide something? What I was looking at was if I am gonna be going short, right? Hypothetically on this paper trade, I wouldn't want to see price coming back up into here. Right? My entry would be within this sell side imbalance in here. Right? So it could be here. Any of this area right here. Ideally. I want to see this short-term high get taken out though. So something right there, right? And what I'm targeting, you probably already heard this, but today, right, we had a high and a low, 50%, and what I'm targeting is anything below this 50%. Right, so something like that could be a very simple trade, right? So on MNQ, so the entry would be, it's not exact, but 163 to 96, so, you know, good like 70 points. Right. That's pretty good. You can also target down here. Best case scenario, the low. Obviously, it doesn't have to do that today, right? But we still have 2 hours. 2 hours can be enough. But yeah, we'll just keep on seeing. Doing the exact same thing. Nice. What are you trading? Nasdaq or? Yeah, right now I'm only doing paper trading. Show my paper trade account. Show the flex real quick. But we've had, you know, not the best history, but you know, we had a plus 92 commission fees. You know, We had a minus 35 trade, a minus 57, and then a plus 102. That was like 5 days ago, so we're here today now trying to see if our strategy works or not. But I'm looking to buy like an evaluation account, like prop firm account, but we need money, you know. I'm in Q2. Are you doing like paper trading or are you doing valuation, real money? Okay, so we're gonna update this low. Right, so basically what I'm looking for is between 1:30 to 2 o'clock. Right, we're gonna have price action within here, and what I'm looking for is just basically the high and low between that. This extra stuff right here is just outside of this trading time window. So it's kind of just like adding on to it. It's like my own strategy that makes sense to me. The best way I can put it. But we can see, let's see. Let's take a look at the daily chart though real quick. Let's see. Execution marks. Take that out. So we can see that we had a bunch of candles going up, bunch of fair value gaps in here that probably want to get filled. Right, but what I think is important is how price came back down really fast, creating this fair value gap here. Right. Now I want to see whether it wants to come back and kind of just like retrace into it. But other than that, like if these fair value gaps don't hold up, could be that we have this order blocks. So we'll just keep this for now. But other than that, bunch of fair value gaps here, but who knows? Who knows? Okay, now that 2 o'clock has formed, very interesting that we get a big fat candle, huh? Lucid trading, that's what you use? Do you know how much the accounts run right now? Let's say I wanted to do like a 50K. I know what is it? Take Profit Trader is also doing I think like 50% off, but I don't think I've ever used them. I've heard of Lucid Trading. I like them. Like I have a couple friends in my Discord that do it, that use Lucid Trading, but obviously I want to pay the lowest amount of money, so okay, so we're gonna get rid of this 2 lines, these vertical lines, so we can see we have our PM low, PM high. Right, PM high got taken. We have a break of structure, higher low. Initial fair value gap on the upside. I want to see this high get taken out, filling this fair value gap, and then maybe seeking lower prices. I think that's what we're going to do, to be honest. That is exactly what we're going to do. So once again, my stop loss is going up there. I think we're going to target at least halfway of today's morning range. So we'll do something like that. Right, and if we do get filled and it's going in our way, I think what we're gonna do is, if we do get closer down to our take profit, probably gonna move it down just a little bit and just keep our stop loss exactly where price shouldn't reach into. So far it's looking like a clean setup. Whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, that doesn't really matter. What matters is that we stay with our stop loss and we don't move it around, and just allow price to keep on making us lose money. So I think that's pretty solid. Mm. Oh yeah. Yeah, 50 bucks for 25K. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'm probably gonna end up buying by today, if anything. I'm actually gonna compare the Lucid right now. Let's see. Lucid Motors, what the? Not that. Lucid Trading. Start trading. Let's see, we got. I mean, I know there's like Pro, Flex, Daily. I mean, what's the difference between Flex and Pro? Flex, you have to have a 50% consistency. Is that how it works? Oh, you get a discount if you put a daily loss limit? That's really interesting. It's really, really interesting. Go Flex. Yeah. So let's say I was gonna do a Flex 50K. Let's say I put the daily loss limit. That's more savings. Shoot. All right, let's see. Um, I like using Tradeovate so I can sign in here. Is there any coupon code I can use? I mean, I used one that's PFS. 30% off. And 30% off is pretty good. I guess I'll just have to compare it to Take Profit Trader. It looks like we're in a trade, so let's see. I'm gonna go over here. So we've marked that first presented fair value gap, right? We're not moving our stop. And let's see, no entry until the window closes. So our window closed and now we have our entry. What the heck? So our window was right here. So like I said, like I'm not really worried about my stop getting hit. I think what matters is you're following a plan, right? So we have our plan already set up. So like take for example, where let's say we traded this on our Lucid Flex, we have a max loss limit of 2,000. Right, so if our stop loss is $50, we have around 30 something trades that we can, not be worried about. But let's say I never put a stop and then I let the trade go higher and then keeps on going higher. And now we're, negative 300 for the day. Right, those 39 trades that you could have lost is now 300, 2,000 divided by 3. That's like 6 trades, That's a crazy amount. So I think that's where RR is really important. I'm just putting my stop where the invalidation is for me. Right, this short is invalidated the moment it touches here. Let's say we put it up here. That's an extra of what, $40? For some reason, Lucid is lagging on me. All right, but it was like $90, I think. So let's take a look at Take Profit Trader. I have a friend that really likes Take Profit Trader. It's like the only thing he uses. What? Let's see, create new. Let's say same account, 50K. Boom. We need what is it? 50 and 3. It'd be $5 cheaper. I don't know if that's good. Yeah. Are you in a trade or you still waiting for something else? Interesting. No, that's where the real shit happens. I'm not gonna lie, yeah, you're right. Cause right here, like, what do I lose? Literally nothing. I mean, I'm sure like the psychology like hits different the moment you go from evaluation to like an actual funded. You're probably just like so eager to like place a trade. You're like, I need to be in a trade because if I don't, I'm gonna miss out on the move. I feel like that's probably like how it's gonna be like. I mean, how long have you been trading? You're waiting for it to go higher before you sell. Might miss out. Valid, valid. Yeah, I think another important thing is like letting your trade have enough time for it to actually move. So let's say we're taking this trade right now, but like there's only 15 minutes left in the market. Like, you know, there's not enough time. But like I used to like trade options and like oh my gosh, it's so much different than what we're doing right now, like futures. Because even if you got like the price went lower to like where you entered, like you can still be down money, and it's like, what's the point of that? Yeah, but I really like. Do you know if like Lucid they have like some case openings? No, it just looks a lot cleaner. 15. Oh, see, I get stuck at this processing window. This always happens to me. I don't know how to fix it, but it does look like we're gonna get stopped out right here. Boom. So now what we do is we quit trading, right? Surely, right? I mean, yeah, it's probably gonna go for these highs. Keep on going higher. Yeah, at this point, it's just we were wrong. And I'm probably not gonna enter another trade because at that point, you know, if we lose another one, we're probably gonna want to go and enter again and then lose another one. We'll just take a look at what price is actually doing. Let's see, we'll take this. Yeah, I used to like punch my couch because like I'd be wrong. I'd be like, oh my. I've been trading for funny story because I used to trade by myself. I think in 2023, like not knowing anything. Like I would literally open my phone. I wouldn't even like look at the charts. I would just literally just buy or sell whatever and just hope I make money. Right, so I wasn't even like reading price action at all. And obviously, you know, I didn't make any money. But then I remember I found this like new barbershop. Not new, but like new for me. But started talking to this one barber there, and then he was like, "Bro, if you really want to learn," and he kind of like leaned into me. He was like, "Bro, if you really want to learn, you should watch ICT." And then he sends me like a link. He's like, "Give me your Discord. I'll add you. I'll send you a link." And ever since I started watching ICT, and that started my journey. So I think 2023 is when I started. And I saw the chats of me and him talking. I remember telling him like, "Bro, this guy's for real." Like ICT, like he knows his shit. I just like watching his mentorship videos. But yeah, we're still on that journey. We're still, sometimes I forget how far I've come, right? And I'm sure hopefully you realize that too. 'Cause I look back and I look at screenshots that I had before, and it's just like, what was I doing back then? But obviously now, even though like I'm not 100% profitable or like my trades aren't 100% right, uh, like just managing it is a lot better. I don't get as, nervous or anxious anymore. Which overall, it's progress. Yeah, Lamau, bro. Like, I remember like placing like 3 trades in a row, like trying to like DCA on like what is it called? Zero DTE or same expiration date. And I'm like, bro, are you serious? Like, why isn't it going back to my entry or something like that? And even though like price would go back to my entry, like time decay would like just ruin everything. And obviously, like I found this like futures, and I was like, that doesn't happen. So why not just trade this? I feel like it's a lot better, to be honest. And you're not really risking a lot of capital. But overall, damn, trading is a journey. It's not like, one thing starts working and then it's like, all right, I figured it out. I think it's like it's an everyday type of thing. Just because every situation every day is different. But I think if you can minimize your losses, for me personally, like placing a stop loss was hard for me for some reason. Because I didn't want to be wrong. I didn't want to see red on my account, and I would literally let my account just go to zero, or not zero. I guess sometimes zero, but like I'd place like let's say like options trade. I'd place a trade. I'm like I don't care. Like if it goes to zero, it goes 99%, like negative 99%. It's either I make money or I don't, and I'll just close my phone and just go do what I was doing, and that's obviously not healthy at all. You think so? Yeah. I also remember like sometimes my sister would come into my room. I'd be like pretty mean. I'd be like, "Get out," like, "Don't you see I'm trading?" Obviously, that's not good at all either. So, I've changed in the way I see trading now. Like, it would definitely get into my emotions a lot, and I'm just like, "Damn, that's not good." Implement stop loss hunting in my strategies. Right. So, like, what's going on right now? Yeah, because honestly, there's no stop losses in here, or at least not like big orders. But I get what you're saying. Like, seek a stop loss here, maybe here. maybe up here in the morning. Yeah, because I guess I did enter early, right? And let's say, you know, we wait for this break of structure, right? But instead of like inside here, wait for the liquidity to get taken out here, right? And then look for the same setup, but up here. Is that what you're kind of saying? I mean, I guess we can delete this because this obviously did not work out. I mean, yeah, people that went short here, obviously they have their stop losses here, and you know, they're probably shitting their pants right now. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I guess it's just like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess you're right. It's seek the stops first, and then look for that setup. Yeah, because like everyone has their own setup. Well, like what makes sense to them. Oh, my lucid trading thing is still processing. What is going on? They don't want my money. All right, so basically, if it forms, we're gonna wait for these two to get taken out, right? Liquidity gets taken out. We're gonna look for that same break of structure again, right? So for me, to explain it, I guess, for me, what makes sense is like, you know, like the trend line, right? Even though I don't necessarily trade trend lines, right? But I'm looking for this trend line to like, I guess, keep on forming to take out liquidity. But then it makes sense for me. So let's say we were to do like something like this, right? So let's say we take that out and then we leave a lower high. But then I see like price kind of struggling to go higher. But then it aggressively, like, I guess the word is just displaces lower, right? Breaking this lower high. This will make sense for me, to be honest. And then what I'm looking for in here is like a fair value gap, like a sell side imbalance, like kind of pretty much like what I was doing over here. And then, you know, target something lower. I mean, that's like the one thing that I've seen like a lot. But I guess it's just like, I need to work on my timing, I think. think that's what I need. True, true. I mean, if you entered where I entered, boom, 50 bucks lost right there. If that was a mini, that's 500 bucks right there. That's crazy. Yeah. But you know this, you know the saying, the what is it? The turtle beats the hare. Patience is a virtue. No, but I think you're right. I think we're seeking these liquidities up here. We're gonna wait for that setup, I think. If it forms, then we'll take one more trade, and total loss should be like around, if it does hit, like stop loss again, that'll be like 100 bucks. So I mean, how many trades do you take a day? You try to. 'Cause I used to be trading like 30 times a day. I'm not gonna lie. It's so funny how fast I would change my mind. I'd be like, all right, I think we're going up. And I get stuffed out. Okay, we're going down now. My brother, come on, dude. Make up your mind. There's some like live stream traders that like that just make me laugh. Frick. What's that guy's name? It's not Diego. Um, he does seem Latino though, I'm not gonna lie. Let me see if I can find him, but this guy's hilarious, like straight up gambling. Diego Trades? I don't think it's Diego. No, it's not this guy. That guy's also pretty funny too. What's this guy's name? I see him in the video. Oh, Danny's Trades. That's his name. I've seen so many of his videos, and it's like, brother, this guy's funny. Same thing. I mean, I think one of the things I want to see is like something like this, right? Like a bunch of candles, like pretty much like copy paste this up here, right? Kind of like tricking traders, right? So a strong impulse up higher, and then seeing whether that fair value gap holds, I guess. I guess in my mind it's like this. Like if this were to happen up here, and whether this fair value gap like completely fails, and I think that short can, I think it can work, yeah. And I guess like if we're wrong, then just place your stop, and you did your part. Yeah, yeah, I think that's the way to go. Like realistically, all you need is one trade a day. Like to be honest, that's all you need, one trade a day. I mean, I think like my like goal would be to get really good on one contract on MNQ, be able to like target, I think for like what prop firms are like 150 minimum a day or something. Like to qualify for like a day or something, you need like three or five of them. I think that's how it works. I don't remember, but I think my goal would be to able to like reach those amount of points. Like I'm in queue. I don't know how much it is, but be able to reach that. What is it, 2 points per dollar or something? I forget, but be so consistent with that so that, instead of one contract, then two contracts. And if you still target the same amount of points that you were targeting with one contract, instead of 150 bucks, it's now 300. But I think the cool part is that you don't have to target those full range days that you used to get on one contract. If you're just okay with 150 bucks, you can pretty much get the same amount of money, but in shorter time, which I think is really cool. Now, obviously, if you do three, four contracts, even a mini, like that's where, oh my gosh, that's takeoff right there. I will be back though. Give me like 5, 10 minutes. I just realized I was muted. Just to explain really quick, all I said was our initial bias was short, right? So seeing prices lower. We initially got stopped out here. I guess price wanted to reach for liquidity first before making a sudden drop down lower. For me, this is a good amount displacement, right? So we have our lower high right here getting broken. So our stop loss is now going to be here, although price can go into there. That's fine. But what I am going to do is I'm going to let this trade run and see if it wants to target today's morning range from this high, this low, the 50%, right? Since we are selling short, we want to buy it back at a discount because that's what naturally what people want to do. They want to buy things at a discount. So with that being said, we're going to leave that there, put our stop loss, and I'm going to go help my dad with what he needs help with. And with that being said, I will catch you guys in the next live, hopefully. And good luck with your trading.